Hello and welcome to 5 Minutes About Pulsar. My name is Chris Latimer and I'm on the streaming team at DataStax. Today we're going to be looking at a feature of Pulsar called Failover subscriptions. And if you'd like to follow along but you don't have a version of Pulsar, head over to astra.datastax.com/register streaming and you can get a new Pulsar instance up and running in just about a minute. And should you have any questions about today's video or on Pulsar in general, you can reach the entire team at DataStax that works on Pulsar at pulsarquestions@datastax.com. If you've used other messaging platforms in the past, you're probably familiar with PubSub. In PubSub, you have a producer that's going to push messages onto a topic, and then you'll have one or more consumers that are going to subscribe to that topic, and we'll get a copy of every message, ideally, in the order that they came in. But sometimes things can fail, and your consumers can encounter problems, and you don't want that topic to back up. And Pulsar has a really nice solution for this called Failover subscriptions that allows you to have a consumer on standby and kind of send messages to that standby consumer when something goes wrong. The way you configure this inside of Pulsar is with the subscription type. And there are 4 different subscription types, but the 2 that we'll look at here are exclusive and failover. Exclusive is going to give you just basic PubSub. You're going to have a consumer, it's going to attach to the topic and get every message. Failover is just a special case of that, where you're going to tell Pulsar that you're going to have multiple consumers. One's the primary, some are standby, and if something happens with the primary, just send the messages to the standby and let it pick up where the first one left off. Now let's jump into Pulsar and see how we actually set this up. Failover subscriptions are going to work with any version of Pulsar that you may be using, but the version I'm going to use today is called Astra Streaming. It is a Pulsar cloud service by DataStax, and it's super easy to get started with. And I already have a streaming tenant created. So I'm going to come here into the topics view and add a new topic. I'm going to call this Failover-example. And I could have used the Pulsar CLI just as easily, but for demo purposes, I like to use the UI. It's just a little bit easier. But let's jump into the IDE now and take a look at the code that we'll need to create a producer and multiple consumers with failover subscriptions and kind of watch how that's going to work. Here in the IDE, you can see that we have 2 classes, a simple producer and a simple consumer. The consumer is going to start off by creating a Pulsar client and connecting to our service URL. And then we're going to use that client to create a new producer attached to that failover example topic. From there, we're going to loop from 0 to 499, creating messages of hello world 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to hello world 499. And we're going to push those onto the topic. On the consumer side, we're going to start the same way by creating a client, and then we're going to use that client to create a consumer. That consumer is going to attach to the failover example topic, and we are going to specify here a subscription type of failover. And that's going to tell Pulsar that I'm going to have multiple consumers that are going to attach to this topic. And should the first one fail, I want you to roll over and start sending messages to the standby. So let's take a look at this in action. I have a couple terminal windows ready to go here. And I created a jar before this to run the consumer. So now what we have is 2 consumers. I'm just going to clear the windows here just to make it a little cleaner looking. So we have 2 consumers running here, kind of the primary and the standby. And I'm going to come back into the IDE and I am going to run the producer now. And let's go back to the windows really quick. And what we should see momentarily is that that primary consumer is going to start picking up the messages from the producer. And if I use Control-C and kill that one, the next one's going to pick it up. Now, I can do the same thing again. I can create another consumer, kill this one, and this one's going to start picking messages back up. And I got to be a little quick before it gets to 500, but we can do this really as many times as we want. And we'll still have those messages start to get picked up. Well, I missed the 499th one. But you get the idea. This is really great. Again, if you're in kind of a microservices architecture, you're using Kubernetes and you're going to be spinning up, you can set Kubernetes to have many instances that are running. This is a really, really nice model that's compatible with those cloud native architectures. And that, in a nutshell, is how we create a failover subscription in Pulsar. Hopefully this was useful to you. If it was, please click on the like button for this video. We're trying to get as many people using Pulsar as possible. So when you do that, it really helps us out, and it's going to help grow the Pulsar community. If you'd like to try out Astra Streaming, that is the cloud Apache Pulsar as a service that we saw in today's video. You can create a free account at astra.datastax.com/register streaming. And if you have any questions, comments, feedback, requests for other videos, please feel free to email us at pulsarquestions, all one word, at datastax.com. That's going to reach our Pulsar team. We have lots of experts here at DataStax that would be more than happy to help you with any questions you may have, any problems that you're facing, and we hope we hear from you. So until next time, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.